So this is attack delay. It's a patch that is inspired by the EHX attack decay, and it marries an envelope volume swell with a delay. And a lot of that was inspired by, I started working on just sort of an attack decay patch, and I went back and watched Bill Rupert's video about the new attack decay, and he used a delay in conjunction with that for a lot of really cool effects that I found very pleasing. So I decided to smash everything together into one patch. So on the left hand side you have the controls for the envelope, and on the right hand side you have the controls for the delay and some global aspects. And I added a sustain stage to this, and I'll come back to that, but basically there are two ways to control the length of the envelope segments. You can either use tap tempo, and you can use that on any of them or none of them, or you can control them with this control, which goes from about 1 millisecond to 8 seconds, which is the range that the attack decay uses, and which I think is a pretty good range for most applications. And you can switch back and forth between them. When the tap tempo is selected, it gets priority. The delay can also be configured by just a delay time that you put in, or by tap tempo. When it's tap tempo, it'll show the tempo of the delay. I don't have a way to do that when it's just the delay time. And there's also a clock divider for each of these. So you can have the envelope set to different tap tempo divisions of the delay and vice versa, and there's a lot of interesting rhythmic effects that you can create with that. But the basic idea is you can use, particularly a swelling envelope to create sort of a reverse delay sound, which is very nice. There's a global mix, so you could have that as, if we change the delay mix to 100%, so that the envelope has to pass through the delay before it's heard, and we adjust the global mix, we can get sort of a reverse delayed sound where we hear our dry signal first, and we can, bring the delay mix down. And also hear one where all we hear is the attack envelope. So the delay is only on the dry side. So its mix determines how much of the envelope is heard before the delay or after the delay, or not at all. We can also disable it with this left stomp switch, and this is a CPU shortcut. What it does is set the mix to 0 on the delay rather than bypass it. So when you turn on the delay, you may hear things that you've already played. So we have an attack stage, we have a decay stage. Let me turn down this. So let me start just a real short decay. You can get sort of really plucky sounds out of that. And so you have that option as well. And then I'll talk about the sustain stage just a little bit. And the idea behind adding this was twofold. One is that you can loop the envelope to get tremolo sounds. When there's no attack or decay stage, a delay will be inserted to give a square wave tremolo, but it can also help you shape different tremolo sounds. You can also use it to create, I think, sort of glitchy stuff. It sort of cuts off your signal as you play along. And I thought there were some really cool sounds that you could generate out of that. So again, you can loop the envelope, and when this is set really low, you get sort of ring mod sounds. And I guess I should point out that these pixels here represent each stage of the envelope as it plays. So right now the loop is off and everything's set low, so you don't see anything. And then the other part is that the attack and decay stages have adjustable curves. And I owe Willem Zenhurst a lot of thanks for helping with this. He figured out some ways to create logarithmic curves. So as you have this set more to the negative values, I'm just using the note values here because it acts as sort of a coarse tune mode. As it's set more negative, it'll be more exponential, which means it'll sort of swelling gradually. When it's at 0, it'll be linear and follow a linear trajectory. And when it's logarithmic, it'll have sort of a quick rise, which I think, in particular, let me get a longer time. Reminds me of like a lap steel guitar. Or a pedal steel guitar. So they're, you know, in a lot of ways it's a very traditional like swell attack patch, but there are a few ways where it's a little bit different. And again, this is the the clock dividers. There's also one other control I wanted to show you. There's a pre-delay, which is a little bit tucked away in this patch, and that's so that you don't hear, you know, if you have a, if that wasn't there when I struck the string to initiate a new envelope, and the pre-delay just goes to a couple of delay lines, what would happen is you would hear me striking the string before the onset detector picked up on everything and shut it down. So you might adjust that if you find yourself picking up some pick attack. You know, it's something that you can tune to your own needs. And yeah, that's the patch. So sorry, I'm sick, so everything I'm saying is through a pretty big haze. But yeah, I hope you like it and check it out. Have a good evening.